Hey folks, hey, it's Thursday night, so I'm going to do some Spelljammer streaming. We're maybe, I don't know, maybe the first draft should be done by Tuesday for me to hand off to Ukulele Bard and to Adam for them to mince it all up and better fade it, as it were. So, checking my signal, that sounds good. Hey, if you check out the description below, you're going to find my Twitter, where I am uploading notification that I am live now. So if you follow me on Twitter, you would know now that I've gone live. I'm just gonna fire through my networks here real quick. We're looking at the DMsGuild Lounge, Drive-Through, RPG, Terran, Indestructible Boys, Designosphere, Trent Monk's got Optimization Channel, which is amazing. Josh at Dungeoneers Pack is just a great guy. Traffic Classes and Constructs. Zipron runs a game and he talks real smart stuff about like encounter building and character interaction and stuff like that. Cleric Corner does amazing flavor translations for basically any kind of character you can imagine. Fry Minis, he was just live. You should check out Fry Minis at YouTube. He paints miniatures and he also gets sneak previews of D&D books. So he's got the quick skinny on basically everything. So hold on real quick and okay, that is all dunzos. So let's see, give me a second here. Let's see. Just give me a hot second to check out. Oh, got it. Okay, and that is fine. Okay, cool. So everything is peachy dory over here. Check off. Okay, great. So hey, yeah, I did some. This was from my. Oops. I run campaigns in 5e from level 1 to 20 in about 250 some odd hours. I'm on my 4th campaign right now. 2 campaigns back in the Spelljammer space opera campaign that I have, where all the different in Eberron, it's a shattered world, so every nation has its own asteroid kingdom, and they move back and forth using Spelljammers. So this I've been running that for maybe like 8 years. So it's cool that Spelljammer is out now, so that I can make something official out of it. So you'll see Shattered Eberron campaign modification on DMsGuild eventually, but this was the Black Widow ship that our team obtained from mercenaries that were hired to kill them. They basically shanked them and stole their ship and started to attack Droam with it. Here's some quick sketches that I did of Kreen, because I know that people value masculine, feminine appearances as they please, or have the option to be able to manipulate that sort of stuff. So I built a chunky Doom style Kreen and more of a damselfly sort of, I guess, damsel Kreen. But so this is some ideas that I threw out there. But other ideas that we're throwing out there, if you check down the link below, 5-color mana spell point variant rules is free for you to view on the DMsGuild. You can, like, this book that we're working on now will also be free to view once it gets released. There's a link on my Patreon. If you click that, it takes you to an about page, and on that about page it has this playlist of this dev stream, as well as a link to a read-only document here. That this is like super alpha, pre-written, like just like me figuring out how would these new mechanics be worded roughly in 5 E's, as well as like all the mechanics that go into it. So today what we're going to do is we're going to spend a few hours and punch through the, over here, D&D Beyond, You know what, I have this up and over. Let's see, give me a hot sec here. I know what I want to do. I want to grab this feats, and I want to grab these spells because that's where we stopped. And this is my epidemic channel. All the music we listen to in the background while I pixelate. As it were. Hey, feel free to say hey to me. You know, I'm going to be here for the next couple hours, and we are going through all the spells. And while we're here, we may as well update the 5 color mana spell point. Now, I'll do 5 color spell point variant rules probably tomorrow. Just as a little snippet. But for now, let's see. So what we're doing is, here's our doc. We are going, so we're doing Spelljammer, right? And the mechanic that we're using is that Spelljammers are measured in 50-foot. Here, I'll get up to the stuff for you guys to see it. Okay, so which one do I like? There's another one that I like. Okay, great. So this demonstrates it. So this is a 5-foot square. This is a 50-foot square, and this is the corner of a 500-foot square. And this is the profile of a star moth, previously known as an elven man-o'-war. And they are 180 feet-ish. So I dropped it. We round up, so it's a 200-foot vessel, which means it's measured as a 4 in 4 squares, which means a 4x4 space. Like if we zoom in here, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, a 4x4 space, like gargantuan size. That is the space that the star moth would fit inside of, because the way that Spelljammer describes it, and I'm going to use the language that they provide for us as basically its rules as written. These ships have the ability to tilt and yaw as much as they want during a round. You use group initiative. So if everyone is firing a different weapon and all those weapons are in different directions, rules as written, not even as Turdstick, like not even like they didn't say you couldn't. No, literally as written in combat. While you are engaging in battle during your group initiative's turn, your whole team, you can reorient and rotate your ship as necessary freely, so that all weapons on your ship can hit any target that you can see. So it doesn't have, if you don't do that, like if I have like say I've got this ballista and I've got this mangonel, and if my target is over here in this square, I'm giving it full or 3/4 cover because of my ship's big butt. So what they decided to do, instead of dealing with 3-dimensional arcs of fire, they just said, hey, you can just flip your ship over and just go pop, 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 and be in whatever orientation that you want. So that means we get to run with that. So your spacing, when you drop a space, here, I'll go to my. I'll grab this real quick while we're talking about it. So let me dash these kids to the back. We'll go here. Okay, cool. So yeah. So come on, Granny. That's what I was trying to do. Get out of there. Okay, whatever. All right. So 4x4 space, right? And you can put your damselfly or your star moth sits inside of. There's your illustration, right? You got weapons. Okay, great. So if we are here is a foe. Here's an Illithid. I don't know. Here's a scorpion, something like that. Okay, as I was saying, you want to be able to freely rotate your weapon so you can gyroscope around the environment, so that you can orient yourself in any direction, which is basically what that means. And since these things can move at 100 million miles per 24 hours, which basically grinds down to 10,000 miles per round. Every 6 seconds, they can punch 10,000 miles if nothing's obstructing them. So we rebuilt the system to have the orrery be able to detect things further ahead, so you don't have to slow down if you don't want to. And then we also fleshed out creatures, the type of speeds that creatures can achieve, so that a Kandori can actually get from one planet to another planet, and during its lifetime, because they don't provide any information about how fast creatures can fly in space. But if all creatures in space can fly at the same speed as a Spelljammer, why the hell do you need Spelljammers? You just lasso a Kandori and fly away with them, and they just drag your chariot behind you. So I added those rules in there because Kandoris can go across the stars, and presumably went in the lights of Xeraxis. It only takes them. It only takes some young dragons a few minutes to travel thousands of miles. So there's obviously some upscaling that's happening there, but they weren't actually fleshed out rules. So we just built out those rules as well. And again, if you go down to the Patreon link and just click, you don't have to be a patron. This isn't yours. You can just read only. It's not even an alpha. So it's a super rough, I guess it's alpha draft right now. It'll go through beta and then editing, and then it'll come back to me to lay out, and we'll just build it out here and we'll paint on it here with you guys. So, but yeah, we have these interaction ranges, so you can detect things with an orrery. So we redefined the roles that your characters play on a ship so that they interact better with the Spelljammer mechanics. Let's see, we have mapping, like buildings, crystal spheres, and maybe this stuff can go. I'm hoping Ukulele Bard can help me sort out the better, like maybe like this talk about like building crystal spheres. Maybe that should be like an appendix in the back of the book, or maybe it needs to be up front here so that you can better understand how piloting, your character can interact with piloting when you can go anywhere from 5 feet around. Now you can go from like dead stop to 10,000 miles per hour. You have like there's zero momentum consequences when you are the only source of gravity around you. So you have this just ridiculous physics that you can play with, and we've actually ground it down to actually work inside of 5e. So it just takes pages and pages. We're up to page, well, we start on 108 and it's 154. So it's like 46 pages of content that we've built here over the past couple weeks. We've been working on the in-command system as a whole, from page 1 to 108. We've been working on that for over a year now. So when Spelljammer was like, hey, Spelljammer's confirmed, I was like, oh my god, yeah, because we were already working on the Infernal War Machine rules that we have a lot of previous streams about. Where did those machines go? They're in here somewhere. Trash, Merrick. Anyway, they're in here. That's not the point of today. So anyway, the point of today is that, so you have this scaling size, right? So your characters live on a 5-foot scale. Your ships exist in 50-foot squares, but they fly in 500-foot, 1 mile, or up to 10,000 miles squares per round as you're moving through space like that. So we had to build up the mechanics for that, which means that, and when we're playtesting stuff, once you get up to like the 500-foot and larger scale where your characters aren't interacting on the same vessel anymore, it gets real stagnant because you can't heal each other. You can't, you can't really operate as a team. So we had to build spell casting and class feature interactions at that larger scale, so that when you're commanding 500 ships and you're attacking another armada, that it's still fun without spell casting, class features, or any of those mechanics. It works. It's just you're just playing a second level fighter. Your characters, like we're playtesting 12th level right now, but they just feel like second level fighters, second level rogues, because of how little they can do, how little their characters impact all those vehicles. So we had to recalibrate, be able to pull in spell casting, the upcast at larger levels, but we had to put constraints on it. So what we're doing right now is we're going through what is appropriate and what is not appropriate for us to include in the upcasting. So generally the rules are that if it affects a weapon attack, like these siege weapons, they do 10 times the damage. They do, like a ballista does d4 times 10 damage as opposed to 10d4 damage, and a mangonel does 6d10 damage instead of I think like 7. It does d6 times 10 damage using command system, as opposed to like I think it's 7d10, maybe it's 5d10 that a mangonel can do. So we just broke it down to the basic dice that we have, and then we did a multiplier so that you can scale up the damage. Palladium, Robotech, and New Quebec, those the Rifts book and the Robotech books, they have mega damage where superstructures just keep scaling up in damage, and that's been the most elegant way I've seen anywhere for scaling up troops, scaling up vehicles, and scaling up threats. So it was easy to incorporate that, but it doesn't, mega damage doesn't jive precisely with 5e. So you have to have the 10, you get your 5-foot scale, your 50-foot scale, 500-foot scale, 1 mile scale, 5,000 feet, and then 10 miles, 100 miles, 1,000 miles, yada, 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 yada. It just keeps going up to, realistically, a 10,000 mile square is like you can move 1 square per round at the 10,000 miles scale. But if your ships are within 100 feet of each other, they can be firing ballistas and mangonels at each other while they're kicking through space at 10,000 miles around. It's the relative speed is the only thing that matters when the only thing within 200 billion miles of you is more space, or if you're in the astral sea and you literally will never run into something unless you think of it. The only thing you're thinking about right now is this bad guy next to you, and he's not going anywhere because he's thinking the same thing, kill you. So you guys can just tear into each other with siege weapons at the 5 foot. 5 foot's inconvenient because of how big these vessels are, and that's what we talk about throughout here. So, but at the 50-foot scale, you can dogfight. You can have 2 ships locked in battle, so you have a 10-foot by 200-foot space that the ships have to stay inside of while they're dogfighting, and that means they can have all weapons locked on each other and be able to cast spells at each other. Everyone's on the same ship, and you're all fighting with each other to take out your enemy. And depending on the scale of the ship, you could have multiple enemies inside of that same 500 by 500 foot square, and your ship is just trapped in a dogfight with them. So then you scale it to the 500 foot scale, and it's like you can move like multiple squares as part of a just like 5 foot scale combat. 30 foot, instead of being 30 foot, it's 1,500 feet or 1,000 feet or 500 feet. It's multiple squares that you're moving each round. And then if you want to escape from that, like it really, like if I'm going to stab you in the throat, we're at the 5 foot scale. That means I have to board your ship. So that means that at some point we have to be at the 50-foot scale when we're closing in on you, so that we could attempt to board your ship. Once we start boarding your ship, we can zoom into the 5-foot scale. But at the 50-foot scale, we're grappling and we're trying to get angle on your ship so you can like pop their gravity, scuttle their ship, knock out their concentration, disable their ship long enough for you to sweep in, lock on, so that you can have a boarding crew come on while they're trying to figure out their scuttle. Maybe you'll knock out the captain and maybe the boarding crew gets kicked off the ship. You don't have to worry about them anymore. So you can just take over the ship easy peasy. But to even get to that point, you have to zoom in at the 500-foot scale, which is the extreme range where weapons can start firing. So once you get to the 500-foot scale, you can start hitting each other with siege weapons. And so we have to be able to upcast spells to the 500-foot scale. But then you have to worry about gravity, the gravity planes interacting. So like if you want to have an armada of ships, each ship, you can't safely stack ships closer than 500-foot squares. So if you've got an armada of 100 ships represented 2-dimensionally or even 3-dimensionally, you can have them scale out over the course of a mile, 1 every square in the mile. But you don't want to have them just like this is as much space as we have between our gravity planes, because if this guy gets hit, he loses concentration and he can't move anymore. Everyone that's stacked up behind him is just going to plow their noses into each other and then everyone gets scuttled, and now like 10% of your fleet just got decked. So you want to spread out enough so that if this guy gets skewed, I can still fly past him while he tries to right himself and get back in the ship with me. So you can only put, realistically, about 10 ships in a mile. So when we scale out the armada at the 1 mile square, you can have 10 ships inside of there. All of them firing ballistas is going to do D4 times 100 damage instead of D4 times 10 damage. But they only have a range of, at best they can hit an adjacent square to the 500-foot scale. So you then have to dogfight at this armada scale, a dogfight of 100, like 10 ships on 10 ships, or if you got 5 squares and you got 50 ships on 50 ships, so they have to lock in to have that same dogfight so they can use their weapons at the 500-foot scale, because inside of that dogfight, each square is 1 ship that you can move around if you want to, or you can zoom in on the one that you're on at the 50-foot scale. It's like I'm taking out the admiral that's leading this whole armada. So you gun your ship for that guy, weaving through the squadrons at the 1 mile scale, zooming into the admiral's defenders at the 500-foot scale, to then zoom in even more to the 50-foot scale to actually breach into his space and scuttle his gravity, so you can come up on him and then take over his ship, knock out their central intelligence. Now each ship is operating independently and they don't know what they're supposed to do, and that's Spelljammer. So right now we are going through the process of building out the spells, right? So what are rules about spells? If the spell can target a weapon attack, like Ensnaring Strike, for example, it can deal, Ensnaring Strike normally does D6 damage, and the target is snared until they can succeed a strength check. Using Ensnaring Strike as a first level spell, if I'm going to cast it on my ballista, so when I fire my ballista, it'll instead do D6 times 10 damage to the ship, which has X hundred, has a Star Moth has 400 hit points. So it's 100 hit points per square that it fills. So it's got 400 hit points, and I think that's actually accurate. Hold on, let me double check real quick. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Let's go to sources, Spelljammer. We're almost there, guys, and then we'll get to work. In command, Spelljammer, confirmed. Where'd you go, bud? There you went. And then we're gonna go to Astral Adventures. We're gonna go to Star Moth. Hit points. Okay, it's got 250. So interesting. So the way that we do it is it's 100 feet per square is how we have it calibrated, because the amount of damage that you can do continues to upscale as you gain levels. So you have a base 400 hit points in a Star Moth, and then your pilot can shield it while they're maintaining concentration on the helm. They can use their own hit points instead of having the ship take damage. And when they do that, it filters through the spell helm, and it filters through the spell jamming helm, and the times 10 gets dropped. So if you get hit for 80 points of damage on your ship from a trebuchet, they only gave us ballista and mangonels in the book because the hit point scaling for the ships doesn't work with the amount of damage that a trebuchet and a cannon can do. So the rules in the DMG and Saltmarsh don't fully mesh with this system, because they're not really building rules around how many hit points things has. Like for example, let's look at the Scorpion ship. Scorpion ship has 250 hit points. It's made of metal. It's 75 feet. Star Moth has it's made of ceramic, and it's there it is. No, I was right. It's 400. Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing. That makes sense. I was looking at the Shrike ship. I'm not crazy after all. Yeah. So this has got 400 hit points. The where'd you go, Scorp? Scorpion has 250. In my world, it's a 2x2 because its length is 75. So that means it rounds up to 100 feet, which means it fits in a 2x2 square. 2 squares times 100 each equals 200 hit points. So it's a little bit less than what you would have in Spelljammer, but what we do is, again, your Spelljammer pilot can choose to take damage for the ship anytime they want, and it scales down. So if you're a 15th level paladin and you've got 130 hit points on you, then if you're at the helm, then you could be using rams as attacks. You could be channeling smites through the ram to do like 10 times 10 damage and banish a ship. Now you've got ships in hell space, and now you can have your Spelljammer campaign go into Descent into Avernus. It's like, hey, we needed that guy, stupid. It's like, oh crap, now we gotta go to Avernus to go find him, and now he's flying around with Zariel in a flying blade. And that's what we'll be playtesting, not this weekend, next weekend. This weekend, the team is going after a Hell Wasp hive using the new spellcasting mechanics that we're looking at to take over the hive, collect all the wasps, and build flying war machines out of the wasps fusing with metal. So they'll be like insect construct things that they can fly into battle and fire weapons from. But then, you know, you can use if an infernal war machine is only, like, say, a 20-foot by 20-foot truck, you can fit 4 of those inside of a 50-foot square, and you could skirmish with those things if they could fly. So that's what we're doing. So that's where, and then, you know, Zariel's blade has got this giant ram, this giant slashing ram that does like 2d10 times 100 damage when it hits. It's like a gift cannon, but it's melee and it's slashing damage. So it can just drags across the ground and anything that gets in the way. Like at 10,000 miles per hour, pow! It just boom, just destroys whatever is in that channel. And so that's how Zariel can just carve through the Blood War in Avernus, because she's got this massive blade that just literally just carves through swaths of demons at 10,000 miles. It's just ridiculous. So the team has to go in and they have to get Belle, the demon Belle, to help them rebuild the fallen blade that got cast aside when it got dropped. It's in there. It's just broken. So if you can get Belle and Mad Maxine to work together to rebuild that thing, then you have a 200-foot by 100-foot Spelljammer ship that you can, you know, do sword fighting and stuff in the sky with. So it's ridiculous. It's super freaking fun, and this is honestly what D&D is supposed to be, like raw shenanigans. We are, I guess you can say that In Command builds inside of the shenanigan pillar of play. That's what we're trying to do. Use combat and exploration to instigate shenanigans at the DM level. So you can create ridiculous ideas like this and actually have upscale mechanics that you can execute them at literally any scale. So, having said all that, if you can cast it through a weapon, it deals 10 times the damage and generally does whatever effect it does to the ship. We got Fairy Fire. You can light up a ship with Fairy Fire. If you're going to upscale to 50 feet, it's going to cost you an extra spell level. So instead of being a first level spell slot, it's 2 levels worth of spells, which could be a second level spell slot or 2 first level spell slots. Or I recommend if you go to the DMsGuild link down below and click on Universal Spell Points and High Magic, or if you want to get magic up in here, you can go with the 5-color mana spell point variant rules, and that gives you a better scaling spell point system that actually uses spell level as the amount of points that you spend. It's super intuitive. Wizards get 80, sorcerers get 100, paladins get 40, and Eldritch Knights and Arcane Tricksters get 20. And of course, you know, monks get 20 on a refill. And if you go with the spell point warlocks, which is pay what you want, free to read, 100%, you get 20 points that you can cast as a short rest. And then you have your high magic, which can break down into 30 mana for you to cast your high level spells, or to continue overcast, like upcast your path magic spells, as well as activate other effects. So that's what we've been doing. That's the basic rules there. If it can like affect yourself, we'll get into like invisibility and stuff like that, and that'll be super cool. So we are sitting inside of. So with no further ado, we're not actually getting to work. So let's get to work. We were on 2nd level. We're looking at darkness, which is obscures targeting. The scale is times 10. So target 100 feet. I should probably go through here and light everything up. So one siege weapon. Can't move and can't move. Okay, great. So yeah, I actually do need to go back. That's right. I wanted to do all the I'm processing all this stuff. So let me go back to ensnaring. Blade ward. Ship. Let's go back to 1st level. Actually, let's keep going back. Let's take it all the way back to the cantrip, yo. Like Acid Splash, it has I think it has an AoE. You have a bubble of acid. Choose 1 or 2 creatures you can see within range. If you choose 2, they must both be within 50 feet of each other. The target must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d6 acid damage. Okay, so why am I limiting spells that deal damage to those that affect weapons? If all I have to do is upcast a spell to be able to deal d6 times 10,000 damage, it'll cost me an 8th level spell slot, but I can drop that spell and then there goes Waterdeep. Poof. With a cantrip, I just melted Waterdeep into a puddle of acid. 2 million people are dead. It took 1 round to do it. No, that does not work. I would have to build a weapon that is large enough to deal that amount of damage. From the command project that we have further upstream in the document, I think it's like around page, I want to say around page 80. I'm not going to go hunt it down, but it occupies a number of miles, and each let me see, a mile structure has 20 hit points per square base, plus it has damage threshold of 20 as well. So you have to deal at least 40 points of damage to damage stone. So it's pretty damn powerful. If a spell can do siege damage and stuff like that, obviously it does double damage like it says. But the 5-foot scale, it's 40 hit points per. It's 20 hit points plus a damage threshold of 20. That damage threshold becomes meaningless after a while. But at the 5-foot scale, a 5-foot square of stone has 20 hit points. At the 50-foot, it's got 200. 500 is 2,000, and it just scales up 10 higher than the size of the square. So a mile is 5,000 feet. So that means that a square at the 5,000 feet, it would have 20,000 hit points per mile area that you would have to deal. There you go. And so the weapon would have to be a mile. So, and then you have to roll it up to it, and then you have to be within, I guess, a couple miles to be able to attack with it. It's like your scouts are going to see that coming. They have giant statues in Waterdeep that animate to defend you against stuff like that, because they're dealing with hand-to-hand combat, and they're dealing with weapons. I mean, it might be a ranged ballista or something, but the giant statues can walk up and knock it down, so it's no longer a problem. You can engage with that using this system. You can do that. So that's what we're trying to do. So you don't want to do like, I cast fireball for 1 million damage. It's like, that's just, the world would burn. There's too many demons out there that would be like easy sell. Like a lich would do it. Why wouldn't they? They don't use human physics. They would destroy the world. So it can only be things through weapons, or if it was going to deal damage, it can only be done through weapons. You can't upcast just direct damage spells. So that's just a hard limit that we have to put on it to make sure that the world retains plausible deniability of why does this magic world work. It's like, well, you got to be able to build something big enough to do that to you, and it's an obvious target that every adventurer within 3 planes is going to want to knock out. So anyway, that's the thought process behind that. So we are going through to see what is the area. I believe this is Divine Favor. 1 siege weapon equals ensnaring strike. We gotta do range on these things. So, oh, that's right. We're gonna look at booming blade to see if this is something that would qualify. You branch weapon used in the spell's casting, make a melee attack with it against 1 creature you can see within 50 feet, 1 ship within 50 feet. On a hit, the target suffers the weapon's attack normal damage, the ram, or grappling claw normal damage effects. Then it becomes sheathed and booming energy until the start of your next turn. If the target willingly moves 5 feet or more before then, the target takes D10. Yeah, see, this is it is through a weapon though. Yeah, but it's not weapon damage that you're doing at that point. It is a targeted spell damage effect, and then the spell ends. Like you could argue that you could do D8 times 10 damage with that on top of your ramming damage when you hit somebody with a ship, like when a pilot like rams another ship, you could trigger the booming blade effect. I'm just going to say no. If your DM wants to include that, they can. I'm just going to go with stuff that I'm 100% on. And if I had to think that long about whether I wanted to include this or not, it is a hard no. So there will be less spells here than what exists in the game. Because some of them, you may say, yeah, you can upcast Booming Blade, but I'm the guy that's publishing the thing. It's got to work for everybody. So just because you think that makes sense, somebody else might not. I also don't like the way that it upcasts. I have a problem with that. So we built the arcane cannon that you could channel cantrips through to deal times 10 damage, not 40-10 times 10 damage at 17th level. If it's an Eldritch Blast, it's just D10. It's just D10 times 10 damage. There you go. Well, it doesn't really matter what the spell is. So anyway, there you go. Thorn Whip is a spell effect. Yeah, if it's a spell attack, it's a no. That's just how we're playing it. So I just gotta, if you want to say differently, I'm going to provide you with plenty of options for you to go ahead and go with. So what about Arms of Hadar? Yeah, it's a saving throw thing. That's not going to work. A protective magical force surrounds you, manifesting as a spectral frost that covers you and your gear. You gain 5 temporary hit points for the duration. If a creature hits you with melee attack while you have these hit points, the creature takes 5 cold damage. You can upcast this extra 5 for spell slot, or spell level rather. So 50 at 10th. I could see Armor of Agos working like this. It would be man, and it deals it back. Okay, let's go with it. Self or is it anybody? So where's our rules? Over damage from spells that require a spell attack roll or deal damage to an area of effect are not amplified. Spells that increase weapon attack damage cast on a single weapon, on a siege weapon, crew, or cast on siege weapons, crew, or pilots multiply damage by 10. Damage. There's that. Let's see. What's the other one? Spells with range of touch and self can include a ship at the 50-foot scale or include a ship, caster occupies at the 50-foot scale and then we can upcast this. I get the 500 for 2, a mile for 3. At some point, when you scale up enough, all you can do is cast a cantrip because you don't have enough spell power to do it. Spells with range of touch can include a ship the caster, occupies. That's spells. Boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Well, I see where this is going pretty quick. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tear all this out and drop it into a spreadsheet eventually. Joy of joys. Well, we'll just mud it for now. Let's just be mutts for now. Spell. Equals type. Get out of here, scallywag. Spell, casting, and duration. Type / duration, range, effect. Yeah, that should be good. Damages equals C equals self equals 50 THP plus 50 per up level and deal 50. Is it per up level? Oof, man. Yeah, 50 is that's too hard nosed. Plus 1d. THP and plus 1d4. There you go. So 50-foot scale, first level spell is going to cost me 2 spell slots. If I'm going to upcast it to 8th level, then it'll do 8 times 5. It'll give me 400 extra hit points for my ship, and it'll do an extra 8d4 times 10 damage until that 400 is gone. So we'll see how that plays out. I think I'm okay with that. So, Divine Favor. No. Ironically, no. Cast Bolt, those are all direct damage. Spell cast effects. Color Chromatic Orb, you deal damage? Yes, you do. You do not qualify. Chromatic Orb. Color Spray. A dazzling array of flashing colored lights spraying from your hand will lit. The total is how many hit points of creatures this spell can affect. Creatures in a 60, huh? Let's see. It is a 15-foot cone. Oh, that's right. I need to have equals self. So what is this? I bet Color Spray works starting with the creatures. So those current hit points. Each creature affected by this spell is blinded until 10 hit points. What if instead we went with 10, huh? Whew, man, that air conditioner sound real ragged. Okay, let's do it this way. Color Spray. What is that? Instant equals 150 foot equals effect up to 2d for squares, save or blind. If a ship is completely in that space. There we go. So the idea here for the Color Spray is, let's roll, what's the number? 2d4 squares. Okay, so here's my crew. We're in this ship here. Here's a scorpion, and we're skirmishing right now. Here. Oh, this is the wrong color. Anyway, so here's your scorpion ship. I rolled a 5, and it can be 150 feet away. So 50, 100, 150. That's the range, and then I rolled 5, so that can be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I don't know, 5. That happens to be able to cover all of the scorpion ship, but like if this Elithid vessel and the scorpion were both fronting on me inside the same square, then if I have 5 squares, I could do, get out of here, Skywag. I could do 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, 4 square, I don't know, 5 square, because scorpions have a lot of weapons. So yeah, that'll potentially blind this pilot, These are 2 wasted squares. But the 2 weapon teams that are on the front end of the scorpion ship, they're blinded as well. Where did my thing go? There we are. Hey. That's the thought process behind that. Maybe that's too complicated. Well, time will tell. Let's see, what's the next one? Color spray, command. That is awfully far. I don't know how you're supposed to hear something 600 feet away. That's an example. Yeah, that's an example of a individual that doesn't seem to have make a lot of sense to, because it's an individual creature. So that makes sense that we would skip that one. We're figuring rules out here together. Compelled those affect individuals. So that means that it wouldn't be able to affect a ship directly. Create, destroy, cure wounds. It's an individual. Let's go. Ooh, that's a neat one. Concentration equals I don't need to. That's right, because it just increases by 10, so I don't have to list all the distances here. Let me crow if I have to, but I don't think I need to. Yeah, let's see if I can get by without doing it. I do like the IC and all that stuff, though. That's cool. I can get back to that. Detect evil. Yes, this makes sense. Detect evil. Let's see. Oh, that was the other thing. Spells with range, touch. Let's see what else we got. Damage from spells that require spells attack, spells that increase weapon attack, spells with a range. Beyond touch. And AoE. Yeah, AoE. Increase scale by 10. There. Increase scale by 10. That's easy. Evil. Agnes, concentration. There we go, for level cast. D10. No, we'll make it easier. If part of a ship is in AoE equals pilot saves. So changing things, we're doing a 150-foot cone, and we don't care how many people are inside of it. If I can position myself here, then I can and if I have a proper square, come on, Kearney. One, two, three. Eesh, I can't hit them both. I can only hit one or the other because they're 150. They're 100 feet apart. So I can hit like this, or I can hit like this. But I can't hit like this. So I can hit one or the other, and then the pilot would have to save, and like I would probably. Boy, I don't know, man. Those Illithids, they got a lot of tentacles on those ships, and the Scorpion has a lot of ballistas and claws. So like this is like grapple. I don't want to cast. I would not want to cast Color Spray at this scale. I would rather cast it at the 500-foot scale if they're within. At that scale, we got our Star Moth, and then our Illithid, and like the Scorpion would probably be next to it. So I would have to upcast into a 3rd level spell to do 1,500 feet to catch everybody in that effect. So it'd be like this. So I can catch both of them, potentially blinding both of them, and then I can just jam the hell out of there, upscale to 10,000 miles, and just go light. That makes a lot more sense. That sounds like a lot more fun. I love it. So detect good, detect evil, and good. Equals concentration effect. Cannot ritual. And then detect magic equals C equals cannot ritual. Detect poison is awesome. Equals cannot ritual to turn. There, that's super easy and super smart to have in the game. If you upcast detect poison to, like, say, the 500-foot scale, if you see a derelict coming at you, I mean, this is kind of, if you're coming to a derelict is more accurate, then if you upcast enough, you can scale out and you can sense, is this is the air breathable or not? So there's that. That just sounds like a smart thing to do. God, that's great. I'm happy to be doing this. This is such a cool product. Detect evil and good, detect magic, detect poison, and disease? Detect poison and disease. Oh, I've got thoughts. Okay, cool. Disguise self. You make yourself, include your armor, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's see. Disguise self equals concentration equals change ship appearance, seemingly reduces size by 50 feet scale. Set this guy's self. Distant whispers is a no. Divine favor is a concentration. One siege weapon. There we go. Is that all it does? Divine favor? Yeah, cool. Let's see, divine favor or turmeric doesn't work in space. Duh. Ensnaring strike is concentrate. Oh, it's concentration. While restrained. Oof. Takes D6 piercing damage. Each of their turns, huh? Let's see. Entangle. Does that work? Grasping vines sprout from the ground. Nope. You could cast Entangle on the deck of a ship. to target crew. I'm trying to think, does allowing you to upcast spells to like a fireball, not causing more damage, but to target further away. I'm trying to suss out, does that break things? It's only a +1. It only increases the casting the casting level by 1. It doesn't deal 8d6 times 10 damage. It just deals 8d6 damage to anybody that's on deck, or is within the fireball. But you can just do it really far away. I'm not immediately opposed to that. But the AoE and damage remains unchanged. Damage from spells that require a spell attack roll or deal damage to an area effect can be amplified to increase distance by a scale of 10, but the AoE and damage remains unchanged. Spells that increase weapon attack damage cast on a siege weapon, crew, or the pilot multiply damage by 10. Yeah, multiply damage by 10. Spells with range of touch and self can include a ship that caster occupies. Spells with a range beyond touch and AoE increases scale by 10. I bet I can reorganize this better. For example, you can cast Entangle. Target up to we'll get to you feats. We're coming for you. 5e fireball. Jesus, range is already 150. Well, the upcasting ain't a bad idea. With the AoE, yeah, I'd move that. Blade Ward. So where were we? Oh, that's right. Bonus action. You can already dash the bonus action. So expedition retreat is irrelevant. Fairy light. We have fairy fire. We have that. Everybody is everybody, so that's advantage. False life doesn't affect machines. Oh, that's a fun idea. Let's do that. We cast at That sounds like a pilot only spell. Spell is let's go with let's go with do we want to specify roles? Because of the augur that can see things, there's the pilot that can move things. The augur can see for the ship. The pilot can also see for the ship. It doesn't have nearly as advanced vision as the augur does. The augur can look out and call shot for a ship. The pilot can maneuver. Siege crew can attack and supports. So APCS. Are all these things ASP? ASP. No, they aren't. Yeah, that feels good. Let's do that. Equals SP. Yeah, no, we really need to stay away from that. The problem is that not everybody uses combined concentration like I use. So I can't just default that like your pilot's going to be able to do something other than concentrate. Let's go back up here and look. All the way back up to the augur. What do you think about the name Augur? A-U-G-U-R is like a diviner. There could be a scry. I guess scryer might be a good alternative. I think we need to flavor test that. Let's see. Augur role. Using command assumes a wild space orrery is a part of and adjacent to Spelljamming Helms as part of navigating wild space. Any creature adjacent to an orrery can activate the Wondrous item, displaying any object of 1 mile or larger size within a crystal sphere. This includes Spelljammer Pilot, while concentrating on a helm adjacent to the orrery. Any creature adjacent to an orrery can activate the Wondrous item, displaying any... that includes blah. Okay, great. So any creature can attune to the orrery as an action while the helm is active. Doing so allows the attuned creature to perform the role of augur. Since objects, the augur can make an augur check, which is it could be a scry check, I guess, which is an intelligence or wisdom, insight, investigation, or perception check while using the orrery to notice small or larger objects within the orrery tracking range as detailed in visibility above. Additionally, if detailed in visibility above. Additionally, if a creature or ship is attempting to hide from being noticed, the DC of the augur's passive perception or the result of the sense object check if the hidden target is within range of detection. Can perform the following actions: void tracking while maintaining concentration on the orrery, the augur, right. So there are instances that you need to have it at, you need to have augur as a separate role if you're not using combined concentration. The combined concentration that we use allows you to stack up to your max spell limit. You get a free cantrip because it's 0. And then for every extra spell level that you cast, it increases the DC of your concentration check. Instead of being a 10 at 0, a cantrip, like a 9th level spell, is a concentration DC of 19 or half damage, whichever is higher. So you could stack up like you could concentrate on the helm, and you could concentrate on the augur doing void tracking, as well as astral insight. Anything else require concentration here? No. Okay, great. So yeah, while you're at the helm and you're using an augur, you could be concentrating up to 3 cantrip effects at a time, which scales into, which is under normal circumstances that'd be 3 spells, and then you're casting it through the ship. Well, the augur doesn't have these aren't upcast costs, so the augur just does that. So that would be, it would have to do all 3 of those things at the same time. You'd have to maintain a concentration DC of 12. So. So let's get back into this. Yeah, these are spells that can affect can affect checks. There we go. This could probably be a separate chapter in the back of the book. But, okay, so we're looking at rolls. Oh, that's pretty good. Message. How could I forget about message? That's so good. Siege command roll. What I want to do is get back to the augur. No, actually, that should be, yeah, that should be down here. So let's go back down to here. No more sugar for you. Cantrip, message. That works. I missed that first time around. It's so obvious. Well, I'm thinking about it different. The way that I interact with this stuff is evolving. so I shouldn't really beat myself up too much. Where was I? Featherfall, that's where I was. Holy biscuits. Still stuck in one. Boy, we take our time. Featherfall is a great find, though. Find familiar. Fog cloud. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, okay. So you could upcast Fog Cloud to 200 square feet, and then again 2,000, and bloody bloody yada yada. Frost Fingers, direct damage equals no. Yeah. Good berry is what it is. Guiding Bolt equals no. I mean, you can, whatever. No thorns. Oops. In addition to the normal effect of the attack, the target of the attack and each creature within 5 feet must make a dex save. It takes extra damage. Yeah, see, no, yeah. So that's another caveat. Damage from spells. Spell attack roll, saving throw. Or deal damage to an area. There you go. Healing Ward. That's effectively what you're getting with your ship. Hellish Rebuke. Oh yeah, surrounded by Hellish Flames, that's a no. Heroism. You could allow that, but technically you wouldn't. Hex, you could affect a pilot if you can see them far away. His Laughter, Pilot, Hunter's Mark. Gives you advantage on orrery tracking, that's for sure. Ice Knife, no. Identify, no. Learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If it was created by a spell, you learn which one. Identify would function. You could use that. Script. Inflict wounds. Doesn't apply. Jump? That's just a movement thing. We don't need that. Lone Strider. Oh, wait a second. Let's check it out. Yeah, you don't jump. Ships don't jump. You touch a creature. Increases by a square. Since you have the since the pilot has the object the object interaction for free each round, has a bonus action and an action, you can pilot 3 times. So that 1 square actually equals 3 squares if you use all of your action economy to do that. That's actually super useful. Whew, man, this stuff is super useful. Let me see if I can get through this crap. Mage Armor, Magic Missile. No, no, no. Upcasting cannot be a ritual. No, that's what you do. So we don't need those, but detected poison and disease is still useful. I'm fine with that then. Fine, we'll go with the we'll go with the sustained damage. That makes the Sarian shot super. Well, it's still a weapon attack, so we can fudge through that. Our sickness is no. Sanctuary we already have as a yes. We already know we can upcast it, so what's the point? Mage armor could be upcast, 13 plus dex. Don't. Like, how many of these do I really need to list for you? Okay, so if you're watching this and you happen to be listening to this segment, drop in the comments down below, like, and drop a comment down below. Do you think I should be listing out every single spell, or should I only be providing general guidelines and then only call out specific narrative things? Like we know that you can cast shield, and if you upcast the shield, then it should be able to affect your ship at the 50-foot scale. Do I therefore need to specifically spell out, hey, you can cast shield? Don't know if I need to or not. Featherfall as a pilot still makes perfect sense to me. Like, I like holding people's hand through stuff. I just don't know if it's actually necessary or not. Searing Strike. Spells duration, weapon fire hot, and attack deals equals weapon. Fire damage. Okay, well, it seems like I need a fire section now, so that would be in the air quality section. So seek the diamond in the rough. Where is air? Example, encountering objects. Oh, air quality, I think that's down with lifestyle, actually. Air. Down here we go. Needs that about fire. Searing strike. Just I'm not feeling it. I'm skipping that one specifically. It's probably bad form. Shield of faith, silent image. Create an image of an object or something you fill on 50-foot cube. Spot within range. Use your action to cause the image to move to any spot within range. The image changes locations. You can alter its appearance so that its movement appears natural for the image. For example, if you create an image, physical interaction. Sure, why not? I'm good with that. You sleep. So saving throw equals no. Snare. Use the rope to make a circle. And it's restrained. Equals no. Stick with animal. Hideous laughter is no. Caustic brew is no. $8.45 already. Tensor's floating disc. Fine. Thunderstrike. Yeah, that's fine. Thunderous. Thunder wave. That deals. Yeah, it's a saving throw equals no. I mean, the DM can allow it, but I just don't out of the box. Witch bolt, maybe. Wrathful strike. It's immune to psychic damage, so that's a no. Well, what do we feel? No, these ships are these ships? But the ships are being piloted. They got a guy attached to it. She's thinking about stuff. She has. Okay. Yeah. That is a yes. As an arrow, no. Agnazar, no. Oh, we're in second level now. Brookskin, Blur. Messenger, Arcane Lock, Aura, Augury, Barkskin, Beast Sense, Blindness, Deafness, Blur. Nothing changed about Barkskin. What does Branding Smite do? Radiant damage. Whew, that's a lot of damage. But that's okay, because it's all just upcast. So, beep, beep, beep. What is this one? Branding Smite. There we go. And the damage type is what? Radiant. I'm gonna eliminate that from the list. Darkness. I think we'll see. ICC, IC, IC, ICC, ICC, IC, IC, IC. CI, 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 Darkness, imprisoning me, all that I see, absolute darkness. Beep, beep. 150 feet, okay. Oof. Might have to up, that might be like one of those upper casts, like 500-foot scale. Jeez. Darkness, thoughts works great. Dragon's Breath, no, Dust Devil, Earthbend. Invincibility, enlarge, reduce, huh. Jeez. Doubles in all dimensions and its weight is multiplied by 8. Doubles, huh? So I go from a 200 to a 400. Oh boy, that's complicated. Let's I guess we could. Deals an extra. It's just that's. Creature and object you can see within range. To grow large or smaller, or an object that is neither worn nor carried. Turns at normal size at once. It doesn't have a limit. An object. I mean, a boat could be considered an object, right? You can see within range. I mean, yeah, I guess it works. Okay. Enthrall. Steed, Fire Trap, Flame Blade. Flame Blade. Oh, yeah, no. Sphere is a no. Fuck a Seagulls. Gust of Wind, Healing Spirit, Heat Metal. Once a manufactured metal object. Oh yeah. That's a cast at spell, so that doesn't work. Good thing too, because you could like just completely cook people out by heating up a scorpion, for example. I mean, you still can. It's just not going to be immediate. Whole person doesn't work because not a person. Invisibility. There we go. This is where we wanted to get to. Equals any crew let's see, attacking targets outside the ship's gravity, air bubble breaks. Outside the ship's air bubble ends the effect. Targets inside don't. So if I cast invisibility on my ship, I could be killing everybody on side of it and you wouldn't see it from afar. I'm down with that. So looks like we're going with spells that just absolutely need to be commented on. Dab Nugget. Ensnaring Strike. I didn't put down the damage. Ensnaring Strike. I want to say it's bar like a piercing. Yeah, there it is. It's piercing. Yeah, Ensnaring Strike. Piercing. There we go. Good. Hey, we're coming along. Try Kinetic Jaunt. That's super freaking cool little teleport. Let's see, you can move through the space of another creature, of another ship. You can move through the space of another ship. It doesn't count as difficult, and it doesn't count as difficult terrain if you end your turn in another creature's space. ending in a gravity plane. Is it turn? End your turn. Da, 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 da. In your turn in a gravity plane requires a for all objects or scuttle. So if you're passing through and you end your turn inside the gravity plane, you didn't have to check for it while you're passing through the gravity plane, but if you end your turn there, everyone has to make a piling check, otherwise everyone gets scuttled. That's awesome. Oh, that sucks, because that's going to be the end of your turn, and then you're just going to be scuttled. Oh, Jesus, that's horrible. And if you're scuttled, you can't concentrate. And if you can't concentrate, you can't defend your ship. So they can attack it, they can board it. Your ship is down until it's your turn. You're basically stunned. So that's super cool. Yeah, levitate doesn't really matter. Locate magic mouth. Ooh, magic weapon. Equals C equals weapon is magical and gains plus 10 damage, period. Ugh, all these second level spells. It's just going to get faster. Second and third level are the worst. From there, it's a lot easier. Mirror image. In your space. Yep. So that works. That works as written. Hold on, let's double check it. No, yeah, that totally works. Let's see. Each time a creature targets you with an attack during the spell's duration, roll a d20 to determine whether the attack instead targets one of your duplicates. If you have 3 duplicates, you must roll a 6 or higher to change the attack's target to a duplicate. With 2 duplicates, you must roll an 8 or higher. With 1 duplicate, you must roll an 11 or higher. A duplicate. Each time a creature targets you with an attack, attacks one of your duplicates. Oh, right. A duplicate AC equals 10 plus Dex mod. If we can perceive illusions as false, such as with true sight. You mean your there. Anything that requires concentration longer than 1 round requires concentration. That's a lot easier. That is a lot easier to deal with. Misty Step is super cool. QEC within range of Fange or comment. Okay, fine, whatever. Aura, pass out trace, super cool. Pass out trace. Phantasmal Force, meh. Further healing, nah. For the duration, the target has advantage on saving throws against being poisoned. How do we want to do? Concentration. Generally, you can maintain so with the modified durations that we have in the spell point variant rules that are in the DM's Guild link. It's free for you to look. I think it's like around page, I want to say 50. No, more like 32. I think. Anyway, I don't remember offhand. I think it's around page 32. Anyway, go check it out. It's free to view. Yeah, concentration has no limit. It spells either on or off. So if it requires if it lasts more than a round, with this, because you're upcasting, anything that lasts more than one round requires concentration. And as per the modified duration rules that we use, your concentration can be broken if disrupted, like attacked or whatever. If you are incapacitated, or if you begin a long rest. But you could sustain concentration through a short rest, no problem, for instance. So, yeah, there you go. It's pretty easy, and it's pretty straightforward, and it's fun as hell. My team, I've been using it literally for years in my own games. And from the feedback that I've gotten, what little feedback I have gotten from folks is it works. So, cheers. Enfeeblement. I was binding ice. Oh, yeah, okay, I can see that. Like, yeah, it's a save. So no, you could ice over a team on your ship, but not the ship itself. Rope tricks, scorching, right? Ooh. Let's see, how big is it? Yeah, I like it. Let's do that. Rope trick. No rope needed, but area is I can up to 8x8 space. How do we want to do? I'm thinking things through. Give me a minute. Yeah, okay, I'll go with that. Let's see what else we got. Ray, see invisibility. Sure. Shadow Braid, Shatter, Silence. Yeah, these all work. Skyride is awesome, of course. Snowball, Spider Climb, I guess that could work. Spike Growth, no. Spiritual Weapon is a no. Suggestion could work. Tasha's Mind Whip, Vortex Warp. You can magically twist space around another creature you can see within range, 90 feet. $900 and $300. 900 feet. It's 18 squares. Jeez, that's a lot of squares. Well, it's only 2 squares at the 500-foot scale, so. Warding Bond. And creature creates a mystic connection between you and the target until the spell ends. Yeah, okay. You can put that on a pilot. Warding Wind. Web. Does not work. I guess you could allow it. Wither and Bloom. Doesn't apply. Missed Pocket. Zone of Truth. And then we're on to level 3. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down stream. We got through second level spells. It is my plan to grind through the rest of these, and I think I'll be able to do that more efficiently off camera. But I think you guys get what we're doing. Me just trolling through spells isn't always necessarily the most exciting thing, but I appreciate you guys' support and interest in the project. Definitely check out where we're heading with this. Like, subscribe, check out my books, follow me on Twitter so you know when I'm going to be bouncing around some more. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm sure I'll do something on stream tomorrow for lunch. I don't know what it is, but we'll be here. So maybe we'll do some more. I don't know. Maybe we'll do some artwork. Who knows? Anyway, this will be done. This first draft will be done by Tuesday, and I'll hand it off to Ukulele Bard and Adam to chew on it. And boy, I'm looking forward. Really, really looking forward. So I will catch up with you guys probably tomorrow. See you then.